semi-final. Let's get it going.
So, a lot on the line. Both of these teams have the region to represent. Cyclops, that feels like there's a little bit more on the line with them, obviously. Finals in Japan, I can't keep stressing that enough. But so too for Wildcard. And I think, look, after seeing the veto, I might be leaning a little bit the way of the ANZ team. However, anything with the bans here, Raven, that you want to be discussing?
There's some interesting bans coming out with this IQ from Wildcard. Definitely looking like they want to be inhibiting Cyclops' ability to be scanning out their intel on site or other gadgets. And Cyclops do lean on the IQ a lot, and not just that, because of the absolute prowess of Cyclops' gun skill. Taking off the IQ, that's a powerful weapon for any fragger. So taking that away, I think that's going to be a really good ban for Wildcard to have played. And seeing the Habana as well, it's a pretty classic ban for Bank, making it a little bit trickier to open hatches, in particular for that Locker's defense. So that means we're going to probably see some Maverick play coming out on the attacks for that bomb site in particular. The defense bans, not a whole lot to say about that one with the Echo Mirror. Very much a common theme here with the Pro League.
Fortunately so for us. It's so that Pulse, maybe they are trying to give a little juke, give some candy in toward the basement, maybe. You think that that is something that could reveal a basement hold?
Could be. Pulse is definitely the basement hold staple. We did see Ethan playing quite a bit of Pulse yesterday on multiple sites of the maps that Wildcard performed on, so I definitely expect to see more Pulse from Wildcard. Cyclops appear to have read really well into what Wildcard might have chosen for their first bomb site. Not quite a Lockers attacking operator lineup that you would expect to see. I talked about bringing a Maverick, for example, to open some hatches, and without that Maverick for the basement bomb site, it would have been quite difficult. So here we are, Cyclops. They're committing fully to a relatively aggressive lineup, bringing the Ying, the Ash as well. So Wildcard going to have to be a bit prepared for this. I feel like Cyclops for sure is going to want to take it to them straight away. They're going to want to try and bully them back into lacking some confidence, which could really affect Wildcard for a few rounds.
Confidence definitely a major part of the general momentum of the actual map, let alone the entire series. And Wildcard saying that they're not really phased at this point. You know, they've done what they were really setting out to do in terms of finding themselves the semi-final spot, but you're never happy just sitting. We have left one of the walls of CEO open, meaning that you will probably be seeing full use of that. Ash not wasting any time with the breaching charge, already opening up. Cyclops are getting a fair bit of nuisance in toward Wildcard up in their face already, but slows down for a second. You know, plenty of time, 2 minutes 20. A lot of progression made toward the site.
Yeah, and that Doc coming into play right there, Emo got taken very low on a rotate, but Doc able to stim him back up to full health as if nothing has happened. It's a minute played now. Cyclops have made a bit of pressure from the windows and starting to progress into the building. Neofighter seems quite aware there is a player coming through ATMs trying to pre-fire, but that player is on the drone and he's aware of the Doc as well, so he's just going to run away and decide not to take that heads-up gunfight. He might be taking this rappel to try and get a different angle, but no, he's actually just going to open these castle barricades just to get a better line of sight into the bomb site there so players can't play so safely. So far, CAG looking to favour a lot of window play here.
Definitely starting to put a bit more pressure on, and with that player starting to open up in toward that banana area, trying to find the castle barricade like you were saying, it makes Emo's job a little bit harder trying to rotate back to the site. They're going to be able to spot it out, but Neofighter wins the initial engagement. That is the first kill of this semi-final, and a big one to start off as well. There's a lot of the fragging potential taken, but they're going to go ahead and execute on the site straight off the back of that. Cyclops are not wasting any time whatsoever. They're already getting the diffuser down, and there's nothing that Wildcard can do to deny this right now. It will have to be a post plan right after.
Yeah, and they've got two players in the windows as well, really strong positions for post-plant. Still a lot of players up for Wildcard, 5 in fact, so it's going to have to be quite a solid post-plant strat here from Cyclops. We're going to see one taken down. He sees one in the box position, but Castle will find one as Ethan finds another. It's a 4v2 in favour of Wildcard in this retake, but half the diffuser time is taken down here, and they'll have to worry about these window players.
It's a little bit awkward. Black Ray might have the vision. Ganorada's going to have to come through huge if Black Ray can't get it done. The jump from Ethan. It's a nice trade, but now it's all on to Ganorada for the first round. They're going to be able to stick it right now. Can Ganorada... Oh, actually, sorry, Ganorada wasn't able to get into the position in time, and Wildcard have pulled out on top, just sticking the defuse.
Yeah, he was very far on the side of those windows, more favoring the skylight stairwell area, and he just didn't quite have the pace to get there in time. So a good stick for the defuse there. It was the last-ditch attempt. Wildcard running out of time, so nice retake from them to get that. And yeah, we see the first round going to Wildcard here.
That was pretty explosive, I'm not going to lie. Yesterday we saw a lot of the slower play and there wasn't a hell of a lot of contact, but early on there, CAG were happy to open up those windows, happy to be repelling and just continuing to apply the pressure. It wasn't like they were doing too much. That kill there might have been absolutely crucial to Wildcard winning that round.
Yeah, it definitely took away the window player that could have denied that defusal the easiest. So definitely a really crucial frag. And this is a great sign from Wildcard so far. Cyclops really threw it at them then. That was pure aggression. They just repelled straight through those windows and they utilized good luck really well. They used those track stingers to assist with the plant. Wildcard didn't really seem to know that the plant was going down and those track stingers will mask that sound. So well used utility from Cyclops. Wildcard, that retake was perfect and they really took it to Cyclops and we saw them take the round. So great start from them. We're going to see them go down to the Lockers bomb site now, which is, as we're saying, the more common bomb site. But we've seen the top floor picked a lot lately first, so not to be these days. Wildcard look like they might be favouring a bit of a roam potentially. They've got this Mozzie and the Valkyrie as well. They're bringing the castle again, so this is going to be coming into some mind games potentially later on, with Cyclops not being able to read which bomb site they might be defending, whether it's top or bottom with this castle pick.
Well, if you can cast your mind back to yesterday's matchup, Wildcard not shy in roaming. Ethan a lot of the time was playing around on the second floor in Cafe. We saw it again when we headed into Clubhouse, so it's not something that Wildcard are afraid to do. The thing is, it always keeps their opponents on their feet. They're not always entirely sure what the hold is going to look like. Neofighter as well is one of those players that's happy to roam, happy to try and take the initial heads-up engagement, like you say. And we saw that in the previous round. That was the opening kill onto the Ashe. So, I mean, the Ashe had used all the breaching charges, but, you know, an eye for an eye. At the moment, Wildcard playing steady with Cyclops, not really too engaged in pushing. They do see the top floor clear as we make our way through. 2-minute mark, and Cyclops making good time.
Yeah, they've made some entries, but so far, not a whole lot push of the roam. Wildcard definitely want to be careful not to lose players too early in the round because that will allow Cyclops to get close to the site and be ready to execute. And one thing that's really critical when you attack this bomb site, especially if you're doing the service push, is that you want to be there nice and early, opening those walls and baiting out the utility. They've got smoke that they need to bait out and the C4s as well. So time is very critical for attacking this, and so far really well managed from the defense. They haven't let CAG take a whole lot of map control too quick, and it's half the round expired already.
A bomb has been located.
We'll have a lot of presence being made. A little bit down onto the staircase at this point, but doesn't look like we've got a hell of a lot across towards server. Diesel's actually still going to be holding on server, so the longer Cyclops take here, the more they don't have to worry about a certain position. Now you're going to start to see them come across. Diesel's going to hear that early, straight through with the smoke bait to try and hold them at, or keep them at bay, that is. But here we go. Now it's going to come through with the execute. Diesel needs to back away, or he has to try and hold his ground. And hold his ground he will. He goes for the peek through the smoke, but he's not going to find anything just yet. Look at the amount of time he's been able to waste on these stairs. All the smoke babes are done, so it makes it a little bit more awkward toward the end of the round when they're trying to deny the plant. But if Diesel can find anything here, he takes down Ashe fully blind, but he will be traded out by Black Ray. 40 seconds left. Cyclops needs to get a little bit of a wriggle on toward that side, but Emo Rin's there as well.
Considering how that was played out, Diesel did it perfectly. The time wasted is fantastic. Cyclops are going to have to get a move on it. Emo Rin is still in this position, as you said, and they're just pushing on with their executor. I'm not even 100% sure they know that he's there, but he's taken out now. It's 5v3, 20 seconds to go. Cyclops is just going to have to get into sight. There's still 2 C4s potentially, and this Maestro on the long angle to deny plant here. Neo is holding the main stair, so that's 1 C4 that won't be used for the execute. That C4 missing, so plant is going down.
Oh my word.
Just downing the planter, so plant got stopped, and it is all hectic here. 5v2, 3 seconds to go. Ethan's going to come in and deny. And he has the plant. Oh, Ethan, he goes off and saves the round for Wildcard. What a fantastic play from Ethan. Wildcard get the next round, 2-0.
Out of everything he could do there, it was a 2 versus 5 Raven. Ethan sends it in, denying the plant, and also dropping 2 other members, I'm pretty sure. An incredible round from Wildcard, but think, I don't want to say the word lucky, but, you know, it was very close for CAG to be able to pull that through. I think Ethan even denied the original planter, correct?
Yes, and that was all on the back of Ethan. They're getting that quick triple, but the C4 had missed. There was no real other chance to deny that plant, and if Ethan hadn't sent it, they wouldn't have denied that. It would have been post-plant. Cyclops with that execute did really well considering the time they had remaining, but Wildcard, they're just pulling out the stops here, and Cyclops can't get around so far.
They definitely need to start making movement towards that. They don't realistically want to be letting Wildcard get too comfortable, but we'll be seeing the archives hold. Let's see whether Wildcard are going to still favor this kind of the roam game that they didn't really favor it in that round at all, did they? They just kind of had a little bit of presence up on that second and first floor. Then they were back behind server before, realistically, I think about 2 minutes 30. So just showing a little bit of presence, showing face for Cyclops to need to check this and clear the roam. That can waste time in itself. So it's vitally important that you show some presence. And any thoughts here, Raven?
That roam from the last round, I think, was a super smart roam from Wildcard. They really baited Cyclops into that roam in the early stage, taking out some drones, really affecting their drone economy. But also they're clear. Cyclops, they're pretty hungry to take gunfights. They're really known to be aggressive. They're all absolutely crazy gunfighters. And if they know there's roamers, they're going to be wanting to hunt that. And I think Wildcard really baited them into it and then just pulled back. And then all of a sudden, once Cyclops realized that everyone had dropped off, they were met with Diesel on those blue stairs, and he played it perfectly. We talked about the time that he burnt off, so again, that was a really successful round coming out of Wildcard and really playing into potentially what you could say is the weakness of their opponents here. The caster being brought again by Wildcards, this is really being utilized a lot by them, and potentially that is helping slow down CAG on their initial push towards the bomb site.
Seeing that normal setup that we do in toward the banana position with castle barricades, just denying Cyclops of the free kind of rotate kills as they make their way through. It depends on how long Wildcards stay up on that second floor. Again, you can probably stay up there for a fair while and just continue to hold Cyclops at bay, especially when you've got Ethan going off the way that he does. And that's for Black Ray quite fortunate in the fact that he makes his way in without dropping down. However, talk about dropping down, he doubles up on toward Diesel as well. That's the smoke player down. 3 members left for Wildcard. Not the greatest start for them in round number 3.
No, this is a great start for Cyclops, though. That entry from the Bark, fantastic. And that is a crucial part of the map that has now been taken. Being able to put vertical pressure on this bomb site is very similar to the Coastline Kitchen bomb site, right? Once you get that top floor, you can start opening up the floor, and it's really hard to play on site. You're in trying to peek these holes and play very aggressive, but so far not seeing anybody. Wildcard in a man disadvantage. There's around a minute to go. Ayrton, he might be able to find this player under the stairs. He's very aware, and he's going to be able to pick him off. That player has been down, so now it is effectively a 5v2 in favor of Cyclops.
Oh, but maybe Ethan can save him. No, not today. Emo Rin, my God, you would have to pull something out of a hat. It's a 1 versus 5 to make this work. If you can find the first, you might be able to cut the odds down a little bit, but realistically, they're literally touching shoulders at this point. He'll be able to find one. He actually just gets the down at the moment. They're literally next to each other.
Oh my gosh.
Finds a second, but Cyclops, they have a little bit of a laugh toward the end there. They knew what was going on. They knew exactly where he was. That was almost an impossible way to pull that through. And so it will be. We now head to 2-1. Cyclops taking that round, and Black Ray with some huge plays to begin with.
Yeah, again, I think that really did come down on the back of that fantastic entry through the windows from the Buck. And what a missed opportunity. I think it was Emo Rin in the lobby that tagged him up on the rappel in, just maybe half a second too late to get him on that rappel. Imagine if Emo Rin had taken that Buck before he got the entry. This round could have been very, very different. So a strong round there from Cyclops. Flawless round, in fact. No, 2 were down. I don't know if any got finished off, but regardless, a really strong round from Cyclops. And Wildcard will now get to rotate back to the top floor.
CEO, which saw the success, also on a bit of a send it play out the windows to find that initial engagement on the rappel player. So they did deny the Gridlock the opportunity to come in and salvage the win in the initial round, but things have started to change a little bit more. Derp was one of the players yesterday that we saw very aggressive and more than happy to take some of those initial engagements. And look, map number 1 didn't really give him too much against Xavier, but then when he started to get warmed up, there was a little bit of a concern as to how you were going to stop him on those opening peaks. We saw him time and time again on Coastline, just running out. And why not? If you're going to find a spawn peak, you've got to commit to it. So now, we head into the 4th round. This is Cyclops' opportunity to keep it nice and tight in the first half. It's, of course, being Cyclops' pick. Damage, well, it's not damage control at this point. We're still just trying to keep it nice and close, nice and tight. Do see the Jackal being brought on Cyclops, however.
Yeah, I think the roam from Wildcard potentially became a concern for Cyclops, so I think bringing the Jackal is a good adaptation to help them just clear that roam a little bit quicker and a little more efficiently. Cyclops are going to resume pushing on these windows, which we saw them doing last time when they attacked this bomb site, which did work out well for them. We should talk about the fact that last time this bomb site was played, the plant went down. It was a 5v4 at that stage, so it was quite a close round for Cyclops in the end. So Wildcard really going to have to maybe be a little bit more prepared for what Cyclops might pull from these windows.
Suzo been already able to spot out Diesel. Diesel just needs to be careful with that peak. He's obviously on the Maestro, and the longer he can remain and possibly even go for that plant denial, we've seen it probably, I reckon we've seen it about 3 or 4 times these finals already, so I'm not going to count it out just yet. Neo happy to take that again. Heads up engagement down in toward Anitan, who I think it's been pretty much pressing lobby every single time.
Yeah, and he has spotted that Valkyrie cam that Neo has been trying to use for the intel, but he will have to enter the lobby to get the angle onto that cam, so very dangerous territory here for Anitan. He's actually not going to try and take that at all. He's going to go outside. I think he's going to try and find this cam from outside so far. Neo holding strong from those stairs and really not letting anybody enter through the lobby as Ethan finds a pick onto Black Ray. That's the Capitao off. That's going to help a lot for Execute.
Yeah, that's a lot of utility being taken away. Obviously the smokes and the asphyxiation bolts are now no longer available, but Neofighter does go down. That's the dock. I don't know whether he was able to use any stim pistols, but regardless, he was looking for those deeper engagements with that ACOG, so play with the bull, you get the horns.
Speaking of a bull with horns, Diesel here on the Maestro, looking to play aggressive onto that square skylight area, expecting players to be there, but maybe this might be an Execute coming out now. Seeing the stun grenades and the smoke grenades from the Gridlock come in. This is 2 players about to rappel in and potentially go for this plant. It is Shoki putting the diffuser down, moving around, potentially knowing he's been spotted. Ethan on this successful flank finding 2v3 now with 30 seconds, and he's off site. That's actually all 1 on site now, and this is Cyclops securing this plant.
Yeah, Derpe, the only player to try and assist right now. He might be able to get in behind enemy lines with Cyclops setting up on site. Neither are on the rappel, so it gives a good opportunity at this point in time for Wildcard to go ahead and take those engagements. Derpe now, with his position known, has to take an aggressive fight, has to bring it back into a possible situation as Ethan's now starting to push as well. They're going to go together, but it's not going to make a difference. Suzu going huge with a 3K so far, and Cyclops shut it down completely. I've got to say, it looked like they were kind of situating it so Diesel might be able to deny that plant, but Suzu read it perfectly, came through into stock and just absolutely deleted him.
Yeah, he really did, and it was a great push from Cyclops in the end. Ethan executing a really nice flank, but him being so far off-site to have to do that large rotate really ended up becoming a problem once they were only left with Derpe on the site. So a good round from Cyclops. We're starting to see it tie up here. It's a very close first half so far.
And it is 2-2. And now they can choose whether they do want to revisit that bomb site. They've got all bomb sites open now, I believe. So it's up to Wildcard to decide where they want to go. Every single round has been close for Wildcard. Not so much for Cyclops, who the past 2 have seemed a little bit easier for them. So it's on Wildcard to keep that pressure up. Where we will see them go, no one knows.
Yeah, and really important that Wildcard stay poised as well. Even though those rounds were a little stronger for Cyclops, that last round was still relatively close, let's be fair. Wildcard need to stay composed. They started very well, and one thing that I think was really key for Wildcard in those first couple of rounds is Cyclops really threw a couple of stops at Wildcard, and Wildcard were like, you know what, we can take this, we're going to push it back. And they did really well to repel that with aggression, like aggression from Ethan on that Lockers bomb site to deny those plans to get that triple. That was really important for the success of Wildcard, so we need to see a little bit more of that potentially earlier in the round, because I think Cyclops are reading into that and they're ready to execute quicker.
Ooh, okay, we're seeing a Warden come through.
Uh-huh. Probably going to play the server stairs, I'm going to say. It's the Lockers bomb site, that's for sure. Quite strong operator play on the blue stairs. You would be immune to those flash grenades, for example, and able to see through smoke.
I don't actually think I've seen Warden being played yet in professional play, so
It's not common. That's
not in the Pro League that we've been watching in ANZ. I haven't really been able to see him with any use. So it'll be interesting to see where Diesel decides to play. Obviously, Cyclops have brought a fair bit of smoke play, to be honest, in the previous, nearly 4 executes now. We've seen at least 1 smoke, 2 smokes being thrown down to deny division. So could this be the counter that they're looking for? Do you think it's more an aggressive play on server stairs?
I think also with the line, that's kind of what it points towards. They want to keep Diesel stationary on those stairs, but maybe they're not going to be counting on him playing Warden. If they use the line scan and try to use stuns or smokes to push him, he can perfectly counter that. Even if he is standing still, if he just hits the deck and goes prone, he can hold that shotgun out and he'll see everything coming through that doorway. So Cyclops might not be ready for the fact that Wildcard have really read into their counter. We did see Wildcard call that tactical timeout there. That was the slight pause. And there's a quick engagement there. Neophyte at least got a radar on entry. Nice play from Neo on this roam. And that's definitely something Cyclops weren't going to be expecting. And that's the gridlock off the board, which has been very crucial to their executes.
Certainly has. You could almost say pivotal to some of them, especially on that top site. The Stingers in the smoke, it's been a very crucial play for them to try and pull through. It denies a lot of the vision and a lot of just free movement. That is going to be Neophyter going down. Don't think he's going to be too upset about that. He was obviously there to be aggressive, obviously there to try and catch one of Cyclops' members out.
The operator that he took, I think, was worth it. Diesel has been tagged very low now, though. So it's going to make it a bit harder for him on those server stairs. Even with that strong counter with the Warden, he can only take 1 bullet. If they just pre-fire, he could be ended. So this is going to be really interesting how this server stairs plays out. 4v4 here. Almost half the round played out, and Cyclops is starting to get this intel. They know that Diesel is here, and Shoki's just going to straight up throw a frag grenade. That would have ended Diesel. Again, we said low HP. He got out of there in time, and it's going to be a very interesting engagement. Diesel will get down by that grenade. Immerin, nice teamwork there to save his teammate. Diesel so far living to fight another day, but Shoki's very much aware that this player is down and that someone is helping out his teammates. So Cyclops have got all they need, and Diesel will get picked up, and he's going to have more HP than he had before he got downed.
Certainly useful at this point. They didn't have the hatch open, so there's no way they can deny them even picking him up. Now going to start to work. Looks like the hatch is open into the site, so Cyclops can funnel if they need to. Again, they just need a plan B just in case all else goes wrong. They need to be able to get on the site, get up in front of Wildcard.
If you want to talk about plan B, it definitely looks like CIG executing plan B here. They've decided server is too hard. Black Ray has gone through garage, and this is about to be a push through main stairs towards the lockers. This is the execute right here, I'm sure of it. Lion scan. Black Ray's pushing up aggressive, just trying to find this pick. Black Ray will find the first pick onto the side here. Immerin finds a frag though. So 3v3 here, 30 seconds to go. Cyclops need to try and get onto bomb site. The Dockerby tags up Immerin, but doesn't quite get him down. Diesel will find Zuzu, 2v3. 20 seconds to go. It's getting close.
Black Ray looking for those lines, trying to hit anything possible. It is going to be the plant being stuck in towards server. How can they push this back? They're both across toward the vault. They need to be careful coming back through. They have good lines in this position, so Cyclops, this is theirs to lose. Not only do they have the diffuser down, but they've got the long lines that are going to be able to be held. Look how deep Black Ray is going to go. Ethan, will he expect a line being held all the way back from garage? I don't know whether he's going to be able to fight this.
This is fantastic post-play positioning here from Cyclops. It's going to make it very hard for Wildcard. The HP advantage is also in the favor of Cyclops. And even with this rotate above, there's actually not much that he can do. The positions that these guys are holding is just too strong. Black Ray maybe getting a little too aggressive here, but it's going to be safe. Immerin's coming down these server stairs, and he's now essentially out of time, and Cyclops will finish that round out. And a great execute coming up from there. It was back and forth, but they really pushed through, and a great post-plan.
It certainly was. They didn't miss about either. The second they knew what they were doing, they both backed away. You could see right toward the end, Black Ray getting a little bit more aggressive to make sure that there was nothing coming through the hatch that they couldn't deny. Overall, good work from CAG. They're looking very strong here on Bank, but again, their map pick, we needed to see them come through swinging. So far, 3-2, I don't even think really fairly shows the scoreline of what CAG have been achieving.
It's also been very close, though. I think Wildcard can really take that. As you said, this is Cyclops' map pick, so if they manage to take this first half 3-3, they can be happy with that. They just have to back themselves in their attacks. Wildcard not too bad on Bank domestically. They've had some struggles in the past, but they're still adept at this map. So far they're competing with Cyclops, but it looks like Cyclops really starting to get some confidence, and I think that's a big thing with the Japanese teams. Once you give them that bit of confidence, they can really run with it.
Certainly for Cyclops, there is a sense of comfortability on this. Even when their first execute isn't exactly successful, they're able to look at it from a different angle. Right? We're not just seeing the one push and then if that doesn't work, it all crumbles. They do have that backup plan. They've got that safety net of something else that they need to pull through with.
Some operator changes again here. Diesel going back to the smoke, deciding that the Warden wasn't really the play, maybe a bit scared of the nades, but Cyclops, they switch off the nades. They brought EMPs, potentially deal with that Warden, but not going to be there anymore. So Diesel probably going to try and hold that server again, as we saw in that previous round that worked out well for them in the end. Cyclops, they're really leaning into this gridlock. I think that was a really big factor in the way that last round played out. Cyclops still managed to get it, but I think Wildcard couldn't have given themselves a better start.
No, that's for sure. Unfortunately, the problem, you know, Neo goes down and Diesel's uncomfortable because he's low in that position. So
yeah,
get a little bit antsy on the stairs, and ultimately CAG just continuing to keep up the pressure. Getting in early and actually denying a lot of the vision. Look at this from Cyclops. They're not wasting any time at all. They're already clearing every roam possible.
This is very quick, and I think this really shows that they potentially have had some very good prep phase drones. They definitely don't look like they've done a lot of active droning. I think they've set their drones up in really great positions in this prep phase, and it's allowed them just to come straight in. They know they've already got the top 2 floors, and they're just going to work on site. They've got so much time to prepare for this execute, and so much time to deal with Diesel here, who is just under so much pressure right now. They're really trying to flush him out of this position quick.
Always going to be a little bit of a problem when you're going to try and play close with the shotgun. Anyone that comes up, it's rather for the other team, it's a little bit difficult, but we saw a good way of finding a way to flush him out. Some frag grenades, why not? Go ahead, throw him down, but that is going to be Shokai taking down Ethan, who has been quite a nuisance in previous matches. Diesel goes low as well. Wildcard looking a little bit disjointed, I feel.
They're definitely under a lot of pressure right here, and Diesel, he is stuck. This hatch is open, his rotate is caught, he's low HP, he's used all his smoke babes. He just has to try and burn time with the shotgun, and there's a team kill there, but Diesel is taken out. Addington, unfortunately, a bit of collateral there, but Cyclops now, they've got a 4 versus 3 man advantage with a minute to go. This is good time management for them on this round, and they can start opening this wall.
C4's there for denial, so too you still have Derpe up, unless they can start to push him as well. There's plenty of denial, however that Thatcher's still on, so they can deny the Evil Eye, and we'll wait and see whether we're actually able to see a successful C4. We weren't previously, but with 2 still up for Wildcard, they can burn a little bit more time. It depends on when Cyclops realistically start going for these plants.
They can take a bit of extra time going for that execute as well, because the smoke is off. That is usually the biggest delay there. And the thermite's not there to open the wall, so this is going to be a hatch drop. We've got 3 players stacked here at this CC hatch. This is about to get very chaotic very quick, and Derpe has a great position. Imorin will find that frag before Derpe can click, and they're just all going to drop into the line of sight of Wildcard, but Imorin couldn't secure those shots. Gatorada with a nice flick, Shokai making it a 3 versus 1, and all of a sudden it's up to Derpe. 10 seconds as the plant goes down.
Looking for the headshot. He needs something here. He hears the footsteps, but it's not going to be enough. Cyclops with an incredible attacking half on Bank, looking so confident. Everything that you are seeing from Cyclops is almost near perfect for them.
It's working out really well for them, and to be honest, I think they almost dropped to their deaths there. There was 2 people looking at those hatch drops, but neither of them really got taken out at all, so unfortunate for Wildcard to not secure those kills. That definitely could have changed the pace of the round, but Cyclops closed out that first half relatively strong. In the end, they lost the first 2 and then won the next 4. So they will come into this next half feeling a lot of confidence, and that's their defense half on Bank. So I think Cyclops definitely looking poised to maybe take this map.
And it's just about keeping keeping damage control for Wildcard. They need to try and keep this match close, even if it goes the way of Cyclops. They need to just add a little bit of doubt into the minds of the Japanese players. Like you're saying, it is a huge thing to have the confidence. See a lot of the teams in Japan just, realistically, when they get that ball rolling, it is rolling, right? There's a lot of things that start to flicker in their favor. And with Wildcard, we've seen this matchup before. Didn't go the way of the ANZ team either. We'll be starting out in the basement.
Touching on that Japanese energy, I think that really just becomes like such a boost for the team play of those teams. Cyclops, very well known for their team play. A lot of people have talked about it. They're super aggressive, great gunplay, and sometimes they're accused of lacking a lot of strategical play. And while that might be the case to some extent, I think their team play is fantastic, and their energy, once they've got some confidence, it just complements and boosts that so much. So I think that's the danger zone for Wildcard here. They definitely need to stop the rounds bleeding. I think even if Wildcard end up losing this map, again, it was Cyclops' map pick. We saw this yesterday with Xavier. They did lose the first map to Xavier in quite embarrassing tradition. It was a big scoreline. So I think Wildcard, it's all going to be about the mindset games here. If they can stay confident while also not necessarily derailing Cyclops, but at least stopping them from getting a full steam ahead situation, I think Wildcard is still in this series.
Sure, right now Cyclops aren't faltering in any way, shape or form. They've got 3 players roaming around. Again, the side is basement. We've got one upstairs, I believe, still on that top floor, but also 2 players down on the first floor just wreaking havoc, destroying all of these drones that, you know, will be so helpful for Wildcard. We said that yesterday they play a lot on info and being able to use that to their full potential, but right now they don't really have a hell of a lot, so they're going to have to enter with a lot of caution. Emo Rin goes down, Anitum with a nice jump out. It will take him a while to get back, but I don't know if anyone... Nope, there is. It's Ethan from Lobby. It will find the trade.
Yeah, 1-for-1 there, and you wouldn't be expecting that aggression, not when you're defending the Locker's bomb site, right? That kind of jump out, much more common when you're attacking CEO. Black Ray finds Ethan now, so this roam working out really well for Cyclops so far. Wildcard a bit stuck, and this aggression really coming out of Cyclops here on their first defense round.
Being able to rotate back down as well. But actually, Gatorada's still up there. If he'd been able to win that fight, it would have been very detrimental. Derpe shutting down Black Ray as well. It is doable. 2 denial operators on site, though. So this could still work for CAG. How much time can they start to deny for Wildcard? Diesel, who we know generally to be the plant for Wildcard, needs to get down, make a decision on where they're going to go.
Yeah, so far definitely looks like Wildcard are just gathering some intel and really deciding where to place their bets for where to attack here. See some very good anchor operators. You touched on this, the Smoke and the Maestro. Fantastic site operators. So Cyclops definitely poised to take this. They've got the intel here, and we've seen Shoki before go big in his anchor spot. I've seen him get ace clutches as Maestro. So time ticking down here, and Wildcard have to get a move on.
They certainly do. 3 smoke bays to use. Here comes the first. There we go. Finally starting to open up. The problem is they're in prime position. If they can start to deny it, Shoke takes down Derpe. This is now going to get a little bit more awkward as the smoke bays will come through to deny. Does Diesel stick this? If he does, he will fall down. Oh, right on the last second, but it didn't make a difference. CAG, they are taking this first map by storm.
Yeah, Wildcard, a good roam clear in the end. It did hurt them early, but they managed to clear it out, and they had the man advantage for a while there. But we talked about the strength of those anchor operators, and look at that, the Smoke really stalled out that potential execute, denied the plan essentially in the end, and Shoki stepped up big with the Maestro on the Alder. So well played by Cyclops to pull that back, and they're going to be going up to CEO, and again, this is really momentum shifting towards Cyclops.
Time we will be seeing the Ash come through for Ethan. Ethan has felt pretty comfortable in taking these engagements. So why not? If you're feeling comfortable with it, just double down on the strat. Also, the breaching charges will help a lot if we do see the castle come through. Not going to see it, so still breaching charges are useful.
Definitely feels like with Ethan playing the Ash, They felt that maybe on that last round they just lacked a bit of aggression on the entry. It did cost them a little bit at the start. Cyclops out-aggressed them, but it was brought back, so maybe this is Wildcard saying, okay, we start needing to bring in more aggression to Cyclops. That is kind of what worked well for them on the defense rounds they won in that first half, so maybe this is them trying to transition that to an attack. Cyclops here bringing some good operators with his bomb site, looking to get some intel with that Valkyrie and the Maestro. Definitely favoring potential rooms here with these operators. Definitely would expect also Cyclops to play aggressive. Those window jump outs are always possible. Annington, we saw him so comfortably do it in that last round, so why not again this round?
Always a concern for Wildcard now that that's the precedent that's been set from the defensive side. So now you've always got to be careful of it. It's always why, you know, playing with such a versatile kind of rather strategy on defense side can definitely throw the attackers off, and you've seen that time and time again where the first round you might see a roam, you might see a Renat, and then the second round, not at all, right?
Yep.
Keeping them guessing, keeping Wildcard on their toes, puts doubt into the mind when they start to make their approach in. Cyclops have done an incredible job on this first map of really suffocating Wildcard.
They really have, and Wildcard here, they're going to have to really push back on the Cyclops. Got a minute to go, and there's some entry engagement here from Neo. He tags up Zuzu, almost to half HP, so that's the smoke. Could come back to bite him a little bit later if he's not too careful. Wildcard is starting to approach from that East Skylight stairwell, looking to open these CO walls. Easily is here placing the charge. Emo covering so that he can get that wall open. That will really help them be more poised to get an execute. He is opening both walls now, so this is being uncontested, both walls open, and this really puts Wildcard in a good position for this execute with half a round still to go.
Done just yet. You can be damn sure of it. Wildcard just want to time this to perfection, make sure that they've got all their T's crossed, I's dotted. See now, that'll allow them to come through a little bit deeper with the drones. I don't know whether Anitan was able to deny the information. Neofighter taking down Black Ray as Gatorada tried to make something work, but Anitan falls as well. Huge from Neo, nearly finds himself a third, but the plant, it's going down. There's no one on site to deny it, and it's going to have to be a retake. 3 versus 4.
This is a fantastic read from Wildcard coming in through the windows and just fully pushing through site and securing control. Ethan with a nice double there. 4v1, all up to Shoki. Lobs out this C4 to find nobody. Almost finds the head of Ethan, but not quite. Shoki just going to move back down. He has the shotgun in hand, and he's going all the way to the ground. He's just going to sit down and have a talk to his teammates, and they're going to start figuring out their next round. They've got a couple of rounds up their sleeve at the moment. They've got a 3-round advantage, which is about to shift 2 rounds. So Wildcard, a really good attack here on this round. I really liked that read. They saw that the roamers were off-site. They could rappel straight in and get those entry picks. And it was on the back of Neo, the Thatcher. Seeing Thatcher go big, and Wildcard will secure their next round here. So it's 5-3. And there is some hype from the crowd after that round, getting behind this ANZ team here. And why wouldn't you?
Gonna need your support, need your energy now. Bring it back and possibly win, or even send to overtime is going to be a little bit tricky. I mean, jumping the gun here, Raven, but at 5-3, anything is possible. It's still close enough for Wildcard to continue to nip away at the heels or this game back. We'll be reattempting.
Definitely not outside of the realm of possibility here. We've seen Wildcard have some fantastic comebacks before. Definitely something they can do against Cyclops, and Cyclops will be repeating that top 4 bomb site. Not really happy with how that turned out, obviously, and they think they can do it better straight away.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Making a change to bring the Mozzie this time. Maybe potentially to play a little more intel denial. Definitely could be something that worked out well for Wildcard, getting drones onto site and realizing it was empty, man. Like, let's go. So the Mozzie potentially trying to inhibit that, to slow them down and not being able to just send it.
I think that's the new theme for us, isn't it?
Send it.
Send it.
Just send it, bro.
Get in there, up in the face, with Shotty. Super Shotty making a lot of renovations there for Shokai.
5 seconds left.
Now let's see whether Wildcard are able to back up
Attackers must
that sort of play, I mean, I don't want to say it came down to Neo finding two openings because Wildcard still had a very nice read directly after that. They didn't waste any time. They had the openings on both of the CEO walls, so a lot of pressure was put on the defensive side. Don't want to take away from that either, but when you have individuals stepping up, playing their roles to perfection, one could hope.
We talked a lot about the momentum game as well, and that's really stunted the momentum. That was actually Cyclops 5 rounds in a row. Wildcard were up 2-0, and all of a sudden it was 5-2. So now this has finally started to reverse that a bit. So Wildcard, if they really want to get this comeback, they're going to have to get it going. That drone has been caught, but that will get shot, so the Mozzie not able to use it. But still, that harms the drone economy of Wildcard. Which definitely worked in the favor of them with that previous attack. Getting those walls open, I think, was a really big critical step as well. They still had half the round to play once they got those walls open, and that's a lot of restriction for the defense on side, and that's potentially what made Cyclops drop off side to try and flank around. And yeah, Wildcard just too good at reading that, so really going to depend how Cyclops try and prevent that happening this time.
Talking about a drone economy, that was one of the things that Cyclops maintained very well in that first defensive side that they had. Not really giving them too much of an option. It's going to be a need to press a little bit of pressure, open up the wall. Ethan now starting to get more contact coming through. You can hear, of course, Thermite charge going off. Ganorada hoping for a Hail Mary with the C4, but it's not going to pay off. And now with a minute 20, Wildcard have made great progress toward the side.
I actually think with Ganorada just then he pre-placed his C4 and the EMP got rid of it. I think he was trying to take away that Thermite. Not to be, so they have tried to throw something at denying this wall opening from the Thermite, but it was now countered by Wildcard. So we're in a very similar position to what we saw in the last round. That's a beautiful drone from Diesel. He's just catched that rotate into stock, and this Jaeger could be punished here. It is Annington in stock, trying to play a cheeky position. It's going to be interesting how Wildcard decide to deal with it, whether they just leave him there knowing that he is there, cutting his rotate back. Or he's just going to get shut down. Neophyter, well done, but that's a trade straight back from Black. That's a really long angle. Well played with that ACOG. 40 seconds to go now. Wildcard going to have to get a bit of a move on.
That's it, 35 seconds as they start to push in. Ethan finds that kill, it turns the tides, but now it's Cyclops that have the good opportunity. Diesel's making work, tries to come through with the Vault. Believe that's the diffuser down as well, in a very awkward position for Wildcard to retrieve it. They might just have to try and focus on the frags as they come through. Ganorada doing good work, and this should be over. Cyclops, they reach map point, and they are looking quite dominant. I do need to stress that.
A great defense from Cyclops there. They really read into what Wildcard were doing quite well, and they anchored in fantastically, and Wildcard just not able to do it. And maybe potentially a little disjointed. Derpe was in the lobby very late in that round, and maybe deciding not to go up those red stairs, deciding that was either too risky or whether maybe that was out of position. Wildcard a little spread out. Ethan, Diesel dying in 1v1 situations, and then eventually Derpe. So, well played from Cyclops. They're heading to the Lockers bomb site, which is a strong bomb site as well. So this could be the round that closes it out for them. Wildcard need to stop the momentum again, and now they're 3 rounds in deficit. They have to get 3 rounds just to take it to overtime.
Poor Diesel looks a little bit sick there on stage. That's not good. Not exactly what you want to be seeing right in the semi-final to book your ticket, not only for the Global Pro League Finals, but also for Six Invitational. Very important match for both of these teams. There you go. You're going to see Ethan at the top for Wildcard. Derps having a bit of a quiet game, but across the board for Cyclops, how good is that to see? No player below 4, and we are going to see the pulse being brought through. Again, a lot of the anchoring that Cyclops are going to be able to achieve. It depends on whether we're going to see a similar strat where they roam or whether they're just going to dedicate down on the side.
Yeah, and on that pulse, we touched on that Ethan was using it quite effectively yesterday, but today he definitely shied away from using it. I have to wonder whether that maybe was a bit of an issue for Wildcard, lacking a bit more intel, but anyway, Ethan, speaking of, has gone on the Nook. So Wildcard attempting a Nook play here. Potentially going to be going for the garage push, but no, he's going to shoot that cam, and he's got something different in mind. We'll have to keep an eye on Ethan and see what he decides to do with this Nook. Wildcard bringing the double hard breach for this bomb site, which means that they will be looking to probably open a couple hatches and the server wall. And Ethan's shooting a couple of drones, really affecting how they will be able to drone site later on. Ethan clearing this lobby out, and So far, Cyclops really trying to, again, put the fear back into Wildcard, that they're roaming or they're going to put some aggression out. But so far, it's actually not too bad. Actually, we see all the Cyclops players back on site.
Again, this is one of the things I said. You set a precedent, and, well, the attacking side has to assume, right? They can't just go in, oh, yeah, no roam. Saw nothing on the drone. You've got to be careful. You need to do your due diligence as part of the droning phase. And Wildcard are a team that do very much work on the back of information. The fact that they don't realistically have a hell of a lot other than no roam right now, start to make decisions. Nicely done, minute 40, they have one hatch open. 2 more to go if they want to give themselves the option, but obviously absolutely no need for them to rush into that, or even no need for them to do it, period.
Seeing a big issue here for Wildcard and his time management. There's still a player playing server rack in the Pulse, getting the intel for that player. So we'll have to flush this player out. He has pre-fired the server stairs, so they are aware of his position, and they've decided to use a thermite charge on this hatch to clear it out. But that Jaeger did clear that sledge at the bottom of the stairs, and he's pushing up aggressively, not quite peeking. He almost saw the head of Neo. Neo's on a drone. This could potentially work out poorly here. The Jaeger does find, oh, it's the Valkyrie that has found Ethan, so now it's not looking too great for Wildcard. A 5v3 and less than a minute to go. Neo's going to get flashed as he peeks the server stairs. Suzu's still unpunished.
Suzu's doing an incredible job, my God. He's going to be able to find the kill as well. That might single-handedly be able to stop Wildcard from making that server play. You can see Derp's looking to get interested as well, but Diesel's getting absolutely massacred there by the Evil Eye. He can't find it, and Shokai can literally just continue to waste time on Wildcard and just tick away at the damage. Death by 1,000 cuts, but now it's all on Wildcard. They need to make a decision. They're going to have to try and make this work and force through with Brute.
Absolutely, they're going to have to go long. I don't think they really have the luxury to be able to try and get this plant down. There's so much denial available for Cyclops. There's still a smoke grenade, which we saw not work out for them last time on the attack. And that is looking like a game crash. That is unfortunate timing there. Cyclops definitely looking poised to win that round. Wildcard, not too much left they were able to do. With 10 seconds to go on the clock there, Manic. And Cyclops, they're coming in strong with these defenses. They're looking fantastic, and Wildcard are really struggling on how to deal with Cyclops in this situation.
That's almost dodging a bullet for Wildcard. A little bit unfortunate for CAG, who were definitely primed to take that map just then. But like you're saying, Cyclops, just everything they're doing looks very well gelled on Bank. Again, we can stress it's on Bank. It is the map pick of Cyclops. However, the problem also is that we know Wildcard are decently comfortable on Bank. It's not like this is a map that they don't play, they try to insta-ban or anything like that. Cyclops just picking the numbers.
They are, and look, Wildcard, again, I think they really need to focus on the fact that this is Cyclops' map pick.
Yep.
And Cyclops obviously have prepared a lot for this, and that they have targeted this against Wildcard. So Cyclops starting strong here, but again, Wildcard were in this situation yesterday. They got monstered a bit on that first map, but it didn't seem to affect them. They actually came back and monstered Xavier on that second map, which was their map pick. So I think Wildcard probably still sitting quite comfortably, maybe hoping to go a little bit better on this map or even getting it. But of course, I think they don't look like they've lost a lot of confidence. They still seem very focused, very sure of themselves, and Cyclops, the same.
Look, it's one of those magical things, right? We're doing this live from ESL Studios in Sydney, which means that when the teams win, when the teams lose, they go out the back, we get to walk out and have a chat with them and maybe see what goes on. Map number 1 yesterday for Wildcard, they got slapped around, let's be honest. We can't really beat around the bush with that. They did get slapped around. But they said, coming out of it, there was nothing that really fazed them, right? They said, oh, look, to be honest, that was their map pick, but obviously we want to be doing better. However, when you come in with that mentality, it means that you don't need to try and reset what's going on, because if you come in thinking that you are, you know, the titan of the match, and you lose that first map like that, like this, it can really start to put a bit of a hindrance on the progress you're making. So it's really important right now for Wildcard, if they get this opportunity again, to realistically take it to Cyclops.
On another factor of Wildcard's comeback yesterday, and again, moving forward with this series, talked about the live studio feeling, Wildcard being the the hometown heroes, I guess. Now that they're the only ANZ team alive in this tournament, the atmosphere and the crowd behind them can really lift them out of any lull that they're in. So that definitely played a factor yesterday for sure. It can help them bring some confidence back up, bring some energy, and something that they can use today. And the atmosphere from the crowd when Wildcard go wild is it's fantastic. So I think that's definitely something that they'll be able to utilize going forward into the next 2 maps.
Feels like a similar reoccurrence from Map1 yesterday, Derp, and not really having the impact that we know that he can. We know that he can come through quite massively, and it's not always in the frag department, right? We do talk about Rainbow6 not being a kill-heavy game in terms of your impact as a player, but right now it feels like he hasn't been able to do enough. He hasn't affected the round or rounds enough to support Wildcard. Now, you can't just put that on one player by any means, but we saw a similar effect for Ethan and Diesel in map number 1 yesterday. And when they came into the second, when they came into Coastline, which we're coming into next, by the way, which is going to be the pick of Wildcard, they all lift together. If they start to, meld out across the line, they feel more comfortable on Coastline, this is a different story.
Absolutely, and we have had word that this is going to be a rehost here, so we're just waiting for everybody to get back into the lobby. It will be a replay round, so once we're ready to go, we'll get back into it. Cyclops looking to close this map out. They are on match point. They're feeling very confident so far. Very audible. Such high energy from them. Definitely what we expect. So I definitely say they're in the best position possible to secure this map.
There's a feeling of a lot of pressure for both. This is a huge opportunity for CAG to become the hometown heroes. That right now, yes, in this immediate second, Wildcard, they can be the hometown heroes, quite literally here in the ESL studios. But if CAG are to win this and book themselves the Pro League final, the global Pro League finals in Japan, they're all of a sudden not only in front of an international audience, but the domestic audience.
For sure, and we talk about the pressure of that again. It's just something that the pause in this will really bring back to head again. They might start thinking about the future a little bit too much and let a bit of that pressure creep in. That's the same for both teams here. And fortunately, we are back in the lobby here. We will resume 6-3 match point. Cyclops on defense. They are taking the Lockers CCTV bomb site again. And yeah, we'll see how this round pans out this time.
Well, Wildcard, look, it's always unfortunate when we see a server crash. The rehost gives Wildcard an opportunity to reassess what was going on. In the same breath, it gives Cyclops an opportunity to come out with what they did in round number 1 of their defensive half, which was roam heavy. Now, you might not have the operators you had in the first in the first round, but you sure as hell can still make it a nuisance for Wildcard. So we'll see whether Cyclops doubling down on their strategy, which seemed so successful. I mean, a lot of that was Suzu down on server stairs, just absolutely destroying the hopes for the attacking side. Do we see a change up?
Look, I'm definitely sure I've actually seen this situation with Cyclops before where they held a bomb site and it was a rehost. And then when it came back, they played it differently. They had the same operator, same setup, of course, but it was played out differently. And in fact, I think that might have been against Airwolf at the Raleigh qualifiers.
I was just about to say, it was on bank, right? I actually think this is a very similar situation to the Raleigh quals. Whoa, what is going on there?
Twice, but Neo will find Anyton on a aggressive play from the Pulse. This is, again, look, they're changing up their playstyle here. This is not at all how they played the round before. But this is going to come back to bite them. That's the Pulse gone. All they've done is tagged up the Thatcher. Pulse so critical in that defense before, getting a lot of the intel. Gatorada trying to play a little aggressive as the smoke in open areas, so not the server stairs as we would traditionally see. So definitely some changes here from Cyclops and how they're playing this out. And so far, this is looking like it's going to work in Wildcard's favor.
Maybe a small factor for Till if Cyclops lose this. I mean, that was, like you were saying, they definitely didn't continue that exact same strategy we saw. The runouts were definitely to try and catch Wildcard off, maybe trying to predict something different, but very nicely read regardless for them. It's now a 5 versus 4 without that Pulse, without all of that information that he brings over towards server stairs. Still with the Valk, they get a little bit more. Maestro as well.
Definitely still trying to play this aggressively. It's Suzu on the Jaeger, and he's still playing around that server area, so it's a position they will have to deal with. But so far, relatively good time management for Wildcard here. Gatarada trying to get this aggressive peak, but can't quite get the angle on the Maverick. He's going to smoke it off, and that's going to damage... No, it's not even going to damage the Maverick, so that smoke not quite going through the hatch as he planned, and that's a smoke babe off the board. So, you know, that could really come back to bite them again later on in this round. Wildcard definitely look a little better in this attack so far. They will have to deal with Suzu. Ethan activating the Nook ability, just trying to go down these stairs. Look, Ethan looks like he might be trying to pull off a bit of a flank here, but this door is in his way, which means it's hinder his surprise factor.
Well, so again, we are going to see Suzu holding back from in behind server. Some information from Shokai there. Just needs to be careful not to lose that, obviously. Neo Fighter just slowly but surely inching further and further in. Suzu, who was instrumental in that server hold, is still there. He's still a nuisance. So if Wildcard are putting all their bets on toward that server area, this could be a real issue. But Emo Rin with a nice frag grenade will take down the hold. And it's up to Cyclops to deny the plant, or at least prevent it for some time.
And look, he's still got Smoke Babe, so there's only 20 seconds to go. Execute's going to have to come out quick, and I'm really going to say Wildcard are going to go deep here. They have to frag out this denial. There's still potentially a C4 from this Valkyrie, and there's still this final Smoke Babe, which he's going to use it. It's not hitting. This plant is still going down. This plant looks like it's going to get secured, so it's going to be a post-plant situation for Wildcard here. Ethan finds a pick. It's a 5v2. That C4 finds one, but Emo finds another, and now all of a sudden is on Shokai, and not to be Wildcard. Close out that round, and all of a sudden it is 6-4.
Well, that is a little bit upsetting for Cyclops. Almost handing Wildcard the round in the early portions, rather. They really had no information by the time it came push to shove in server. So let's move on from that now. We'll see whether we're going to be attacking once again down in the basement. A breath of fresh air for the ANZ roster right now. Another inch closer.
We are seeing the Lockers bomb site picks again from Cyclops here. Potentially they might try to play it similar to how they had it in that round where we almost saw the finish. Suzu reprising his role in the smoke, maybe looking to play those server stairs instead of Jaeger at the server rack. I really think Cyclops just played it a little too aggressive. I think they tried to change it too much. That early aggression that ended up costing them a pulse really come back to bite them. If they just had a little bit extra intel, an extra C4 for denial in that situation at the end, I think that round definitely would have played out very differently for Wildcard, considering there wasn't a whole lot of time left in the execute.
Hopefully we go back to what we were seeing previous round, but as they set back up, Wildcard can definitely start to figure out the approach that they're going to bring. They're pretty methodical so far, leaving a round generally to about 20 seconds down in the basement, which is always dangerous because of generally the denial, the anchors that Cyclops are bringing. However, in that instance, very unsuccessful. They still had the C4, they still had a Smoke Babe, and I don't know where Evil Eyes were, but definitely not in the, or taken out completely, but quite dangerous, I must admit.
So far we are seeing Cyclops 3 offside, in fact, playing around the Tel's Archives area for a roam in through open. Just trying to slow down this push from Wildcard so they can't get a lot of control and they can't do the jobs they need to do, such as opening these hatches. There is one in the admin that is already open for them, which will be used by Cyclops to rotate back to site, but so far, this definitely has been a bit of a slower push from Wildcard entering the site, taking almost the full first minute, which was not the case in the round they just won. Ethan has gone into the Capital instead of the Nook, so definitely being able to utilize a lot more utility in this situation. So far, Cyclops sticking this aggressive roam.
One thing you're going to see is all that info gathering. Cyclops, like you're saying, they still got their way out of this. They have committed quite a bit to holding it for a certain time, and that's perfectly done from Cyclops. They don't lose a single player, yet look at how much time they've wasted from Wildcard. They're not even on that first floor yet.
Perfect is the best word that you could use for that, because that was timed so well. Just as they were about to get pushed, they've dropped off, and now this is half the round burned out. Yes, one hatch is open for them already, the admin hatch, but they've had to finish droning out this floor. They're finally aware that they have it, and they can finally start doing other stuff, but there's only around a minute to go. And they still have to think about what to do with site and server if that's where they're executing. Addington is still playing over there.
Furious would be a way to put it. Cyclops edging closer to taking this Wildcard with limited time is going to have to try and find a use for whatever it is that they're going to be calling. It is Maverick opening up another hatch. Diesel taking down Aniton, who was recently on the roam. I'm not entirely sure where he's fallen down either, but that's useful. Will we see the Nitro cell up through the hatch? Nope, just a couple of shots to try and give it somewhat of a haircut, but here come the flashes and maybe the execute on the back of Wildcard now.
30 seconds to go here. There is still smoke and potentially a C4 on the board for Cyclops. The execute is coming down here. We'll find Shoka. That is the Maestro off the board as a big pick, and Diesel is starting to do some planting here. They're trying to bait out this utility, but no smoke grenade came through that time. Diesel is getting the plant down. 15 seconds to go. He is going to have to try and stick this, and 2 seconds remaining. The C4 throw is taken down.
God.
Well played from Wildcard there. It's a 2v3, a 2v2 now. Looking a little not doable, but Imorin making it a bit more comfortable for his team, and Suzu now, he's going for a flank. It's a matter of whether Wildcard are aware of this. This could be devastating. It's only 2 players he needs to find. Diesel may get picked up. Dirtbay's in a great position to finish it off though. Wildcard find another round, and all of a sudden, 6-5. It's very close, Manic. We might be seeing overtime.
Yeah, it certainly is. Wildcard have done a good job of resetting themselves, let alone the actual game itself. 1 round in it, we go to the full regulation to decide either a victor or overtime. And if you talk about momentum and you use it as a pure base for what we're looking at right now, it's definitely in Wildcard's favor. Will we see another attempt down in the basement? It will have to be 3 back-to-back for Cyclops at this point. They will be going down there. I mean, this is technically the 4th time they're going to be reattempting it. But do bring back the pulse. This time, hopefully, with a little bit more success than the previous Raven.
Oh, might be 6 picked off. No, he's going to stick it. But, look, I think Cyclops played that round really well. We talked about their roam and the timing. It was fantastic, but Wildcard just managed to pull out a great execute with not much time. It really looked like maybe the smoke grenades aren't hitting their target. I think that
I was about to say that. It looked like they were getting caught on the wall or something.
Yeah, I think that really hindered them because definitely in that position, smoke players should be able to just smoke out that. The thermite usually in those instances where there's not much time and they know that the smoke player still has some smoke babes, the planter usually pushes deep. You usually see a deep plant, usually see some players have to drop and push red hallway or flank blockers, but nothing that really had to happen because Diesel was just able to get that plant down. So a bit of an error from Cyclops there that potentially has cost them that round, and potentially the map we might wait and see on that one, but here we go.
I mean, at this point, Cyclops have 6 different methods of being able to deny the plant, or at least, again, just prolong that attempt. 10 seconds for Suzu for every attempt, so that's 30 seconds, or a roundabout. You can generally assume you can get in there a little bit earlier or a little bit later, but with 3 nitro cells as well, I want to be using that with full effect. Pulse just on the inside of Red Bolt, I would dare say, by the time it comes down to it. If Wildcard decide to go for that server push, Cyclops should have an upper hand in that sense.
They're favoring an aggressive roam. Again, here they've reinforced these hatches on the top floor, which means that if Wildcard want to successfully clear the roam without doing it horizontally, they will have to open those hatches to help push out the open area player, which is Suzu on the smoke. So if they are able to secure a kill under this smoke early, that's definitely going to increase their chances of getting a successful execute. Suzu really backing himself to take long engagements with the SMG-11, which you wouldn't see a whole lot of players really backing themselves to try and take long engagements with that.
It does feel a little bit dangerous. And Gatorado just on the other side with a rotate hole will be caught out by Neofighter. This is not exactly great for Cyclops, although that is the Mozzie. It's not the most crucial on the lineup right now, but Problem is, it's still a 4v5. And the remainder of Cyclops have folded back in toward the site. The turtle has begun.
Definitely not the biggest dent made by losing the Mozzie, but that's one player down that won't be there for the defense. And probably a C4 not going to be hitting. And in fact, I'm pretty sure I saw Black Ray using his C4 before he dropped. So that's less denial that Wildcard will have to deal with. It's just over a minute to play here, and Wildcard are going to have to start getting close to the site and start preparing and execute. And Adderton is still in this server section, so they will have to deal with this before they can do this execute. Less than a minute to go now, so it's starting to get into dangerous territory in terms of baiting out utility. Will those smoke babes hit this time, Manic?
There's a highway to a danger zone for Wildcard. That danger zone being all of this extra information that they're being able to gain. Adderton, he goes for the straight up fight. Not embarrassed to do so either. Absolutely destroys Neo. That is the Thatcher down. And now Wildcard, what is their decision? Looks like they're going to go and try to put pressure back in the server, try and flush Adderton out, but it might be too little too late by the time they get there. They need to get a move on here, Raven. 25 seconds. And Adderton is still in there. Black Ray watching for a headshot. But there we go. Now things start to open up. 20 seconds. We've got to see the execute from Wildcard.
Absolutely. They really need to get on site and start making things happen. It's a great opening pick from Diesel. He's being smoked out of sight now. This is something that we didn't see happen before. Diesel will have to push deep. He is going along and getting this plant down. And the Pulse knows it now. The C4's coming out, but it's denied. Fantastic play from Wildcard. All of a sudden, it's on Suzu. The plant is down. Post-plant situation. And Wildcard secure the overtime. What a fantastic comeback from them, and all of a sudden, it's back 6-6.
Well, Wildcard to deny that C4 from coming over the top, that would have been it. That would have been the game done for Cyclops in that instance. Oh my word, talk about inches and milliseconds in it. They had everything they needed there, Cyclops, to try and deny that. The smokes were coming out early. It was down to 10 seconds. And Wildcard were forced into making that move deep into the site. Now, I believe this is going to be a pause for Wildcard. Or Cyclops, actually. Sorry, Cyclops.
Yes. Look, I think that was a fantastic attack from Wildcard. It was something I mentioned earlier about how the smoke babes were missing. So Diesel was able just to stick those plants in the late phases of the round in those earlier attacks they won. And I mentioned that if those smoke babes hit, you traditionally what you see is you see the thermite push deep and you see some more aggression into red hallway. And that's exactly what Wildcard pulled out. And did they pull it out? That was fantastically done. All of a sudden, a 4v4, I believe it was just completely turned on its head. And that execute was just fantastic. So Wildcard into overtime here. And they're going to be backing themselves, man. They've got so much momentum. They're looking confident. Silex looks pumped, dude. Look at him.
Great opportunity for them to, and like this is where it begins, right? That's 3 rounds straight now they've been able to take. Which, to be honest, after a 4-2 half for Cyclops, I thought this was over. I thought this was done. We were putting this map in the bin and getting ready for the next one.
Need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
So here we go, once more, Raven. Sanity is repeating the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Simon,
Are
like
they?
Groundhog Day.
Yep, seriously.
Cyclops resuming block of defense here in the first round of overtime. Changing up a little bit, Adderton will be playing the Vigil instead of the Jaeger, which he was playing, and that's now reprised by Shoki, which means they don't have a Maestro. It will be no Evil Eyes, no Older to help with anchoring on bomb sites, so definitely expecting to see a lot more aggression out of them on this round. Wildcard pretty much untouched. I think it's been working very well for them. It's not even down to the operators. I think it's really coming down to how they're pulling things together. It's worked out so well, and now they've got all this momentum and confidence. I think Cyclops just need to get in their face and really shut that down. So,
ooh, the Vigil at the moment could be causing a little bit of problems for Wildcard. We know their drone game to be quite strong, flushing out the roamers, but this looks like a very similar roam to what we saw in round number 1, where Cyclops took that basement hold. And a lot of that was on a double entry that they were able to deny from Wildcard. So as they slowly start to make their way through, I believe they will notice that the Vigil is up there. Ethan, bit of a glue. Stepping with the utmost caution right now. If they take Cyclops' map off of them, this would be absolutely massive for the ANZ team.
That would be very, very big, that's for sure. And not just for the complete standing of the series, but coming into the second map, you've got to think that Cyclops would be a little bit demoralized by that.
Yep.
Such a strong advantage in this map, and to lose their, not just their map pick, but to lose with such an advantage early on, definitely not a great feeling. Cyclops has stalled out Wildcard a bit though. The roam clear is a bit steady. I'm going to say slow. They've definitely made some progress, but it's going to be tricky with this Vigil. They want to find exactly where the Vigil is playing. They don't want surprises to happen. Annington is still playing on that top floor. So that's something that Wildcard are going to have to really shut down here after the round played. And very similar to how the other roamers are playing. And that Vigil is shut down. It's a great pick from Neophyter. He is taken so low though. Sneeze on him and he's gone. Ethan has engaged with the Valkyrie, but not trading HP at this stage. Black Ray hasn't dropped off, which is what he had done previously. And Gatorada is also still in this archive position. So it's starting to get tired, but this roam hasn't been flushed out. So this is a very different point of contention that we've seen in previous rounds. The roam had always dropped off, but now it's looking like they want to play it almost more aggressively than previously.
Yeah, they've doubled down on that. There's 3 players right now on the first floor to try and assist each other. Diesel trying to force the issue with that initial player that he'd already seen contact with. Gatorada needs to be careful. If he falls down here, it might start to fall apart, but it is 45 seconds, Raven. Cyclops are doing an incredible job at keeping them at bay. When Gatorada takes down Ethan, it starts to look a little bit more doable for the Cyclops.
Diesel been taken low as well, so 30 seconds, and Shoki comes up big. Emo trades straight back. Emo again. Shoki's going to piece back to side. It's a 2v3, so the man advantage is in favor of Wildcard, and Gatorada is still off site. Shoki going big for his team in this round. A double kill, meaning a lot. Gatorada taken out. Emo Rin, Shoki on low HP. It's a 1v1 with 14 seconds to go. Who will get this first round of overtime? And it will be Evo Rin. A massive round from Evo Rin. And Wildcard, they are on match point.
Look, to be honest, it's little details right now. That is the 4th basement defense that has been unsuccessful in a row, mind you, that we've seen come through from Cyclops. I'm going to say that that hatch across towards server left unreinforced might have been a linchpin in that round there. Emorim was able to rotate so much quicker and find the trade, find the position. Also, you know, there's no need to stress when you're on the site. You've still got 10 seconds left. That's 10 seconds to hunt and find or stick that defuse. So this is absolutely massive.
And
how? Just how, Raven? How have Wildcard gone up here?
I think they've just absolutely stuck to their guns. They looked unfazed when they were down 6-3. And they've just
Attackers need to locate and
completely driven the nail into Cyclops right here. And all of a sudden, we see them on match point. And would you believe it? We're seeing lockers again. Haven't seen that for a while.
It's just... let me just count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Technically 6 with the with that first round that we had the server crash on. We've seen it 6 times now. Cyclops, I think after this, will be haunted by the word. It is just... This will echo surely through this series. I don't know how you could not be tilted by that.
5 seconds.
One has to question, why didn't they just pick a different bomb site?
I
think once you lose it once, yeah, maybe try it again if you've got a really good idea. Use it twice? I don't know, maybe it's time to change it up a bit. But even after 3 times, they stuck to their guns, so...
The problem is, I think at that point, for an attacking side, you're not even stressed in terms of mentality. If you've been able to take it once and you lose it the next time, guess what? You won it the first time, so what? However, when you keep losing it, it's just ticking away. That little monkey on your back that's just going, you should not have done that.
Yeah, and it's allowing the attackers to get into a rhythm, which is something that's usually really difficult with attack, right? You're constantly adapting and really having to coordinate so tightly as a team. But if you're constantly repeating the same bomb site, you can really tighten up and be quite efficient. And I think it really did play Wildcard into a bit of form. It allowed them to really easily read what Cyclops were doing and the way they were playing. And this is how we've come to the situation. 7-6 Wildcard here. Wildcard playing a little aggressive here in the server in the combo of Diesel and Ethan. Ethan getting a lot of intel on this pulse. And finally Ethan is on the pulse. We talked about it earlier. Seems to work out quite well for Wildcard. And Diesel's been strong on the smoke on these stairs at the moment. And we'll see Cyclops start to potentially try and engage. And no, they're backing out with that hatch being open. So that rotate has been cut, but they have rotated. Cyclops.
That's a fair bit of control, and server at a minute 40. Wildcard aren't going to be able to do anything. This is really nice from Cyclops. Incredible time management. No matter what Wildcard have right now, I think the Cyclops have left them so much time to get into this bomb site and find the plant. You can see the smoke babes coming out at a minute 30. This is incredible from Cyclops. Oh, come on, Neo.
Don't
Not
push
like that.
Almost could have been devastating for Neo Fighter there, but up to C4, and yeah, as you said, they have a lot of time to start betting out utility here. There's the second smoke babe coming up. Still a minute to go. There are other ways to deny this plant. A lot of denial, in fact. Potentially 3 C4s in the hands of Wildcard. So they can play out this time a little more, and if they've got the intel, then they can rest assured that they can deny this plant. So this is really on the onus of Cyclops here. They need to do something to destabilize these defenders.
And I like this from Gatorada as well, just making sure, you know, there's no flanks to come in. No one's going to make sure that they can get across to the site. Here comes a C4. Surely Shokai, yep, just going to be continuing to bait it. 30 seconds now. And Wildcard have done a good job of ensuring that it's not free. There comes the C4. Neo Fighter takes him down. That's one player off the board. It starts to get a little bit more tricky. Derpay going for the contact. All he needs to do is keep them at bay here. Cyclops, they're running out of time.
Absolutely well played from Wildcard here to deny the plan. Neofire is going massive through his team with a triple kill. Diesel finishes it off. It's all up to Suzu. He's stuck in Garage with 6 seconds to go. I dare say this is potentially not doable if Wildcard just hold their angles, and that is it. Wildcard secure the first map of this series against Cyclops, and they are poised going into second map, which is their pick, to take the series.
Wow, what a drama-filled map that was. It's Wildcard that come away with a victory. And a very, very hard-fought one at that as well. Obviously, for CAG, they're going to be disappointed with the turn of events that occurred in round number 9. And obviously, much as I am loath to bring it up, I think we have to discuss the reset there. That round did really look like it was going to go the way of CAG.
Yes,
yes. Really was, yeah. They had a lot of advantage there with only 10 seconds to go. Wildcard didn't really look like they were going to be able to counter it, but gotta give credit to Wildcard. That comeback was absolutely crazy after that.
See, that's what I want to talk about. This is the way that I want to spin it as well. Yes, while Wildcard did get a bit of a reprieve where they otherwise probably shouldn't have, they also then went on to win 5 rounds in a row. And so you kind of have to argue that they really did work hard for that win.
No, 100%, as you cannot take that away from Wildcard in any way, shape or form. As much as I don't want to take it away from Wildcard, it's also questions around Cyclops. Why are we repeating the same bomb site 4 times in a row with not a hell of a lot of success? You know, Wildcard were looking really good. Like you were saying, that allows them to get comfortable on that side, allows them to continue just attacking and chipping away. So I think realistically in the end, Cyclops, it was almost like they just ran out of gas, right?
Did you sort of feel like that then speaks more to how Cyclops is feeling after the events of map number 1 versus what Wildcard is feeling? You know, like, did Wildcard really step up there, or is it CAG that have taken their foot off the pedal a little bit?
I think it's a bit of both, and it's a bit of cause and effect. I think what happened was CAG really did start to take the foot off the pedal. They, as we said, like repeated that bomb sign. I've got to say that's a little bit questionable after they lost it so many times in a row, and it's allowed their opponent to pick up their game and get that momentum, and their energy towards the end was crazy. We started to hear it much more than we'd heard for the entire map. So, yeah, cause and effect of that situation.
You know, obviously the crowd getting involved as well. I think the 6th man potentially in effect here, but what's this going to do to the mentality now for CAG? I think there's going to be a big discussion that has to be had in the parking lot during this break as to what they're going to do going into this next map, because they have to really mentally reset here. There's a lot that's going to be going through their heads.
Look, you've come into this best of 3. This is a rematch, right? So we actually have history between these two teams. We know where they've been before and how it's gone. The fact you lose your map pick and now you're going on the coastline, which we know for a fact that Wildcard are comfortable on, this could be really dangerous, Raven.
Yeah, let's have a talk about this as well in the aspect of CAG now, the last remaining Japanese team here in the APAC Finals. And the only hope for a Japanese team at the global finals in Tokoname now is 1 map away from just being removed from the competition.
Yeah, and look, Wildcard won the first map last time these guys met together. So they've been in this situation before, but I think coming into this situation, it's vastly different circumstances. And you know what? They're coming into Coastline, which was the map that Wildcard won last time these teams met.
Certainly a scary prospect, isn't it, then, for CAG and for all of Japan and all their fans as well. Time for us to take a break, but do not go too far. There is drama still ahead here today at the Rainbow6 Pro League APAC Season 10 Finals.